like I'm excited already and I'm looking forward to it. Chichi, do you want to take over now before we introduce our coach? Hi, Chichi, are you there?
Are we recording?
Thank you. I didn't um I didn't remember to press the recording because I can't afford to lose any minutes from this. Hi, Chichi, if you're there, you want to say something? You're talking on mute.
Chichi's having issues because of the hurricane, so she's
Oh,
not
okay,
ready yet.
that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Before I introduce him, would it be fine if you could just put in the chat where you dialed in from? Just put in the chat where you dialed in from. I know that we have some people with from Nigeria here, probably the African Agility, and I have some of my old friends here as well. I just had to call them that you don't want to miss this learning. Just put it in the chat where you're from. Buffalo, New York. That's Joy. Um, Bangalore, India. Alberta, Canada. Hey, Omani, hi, good afternoon. Thanks for joining. I'm happy you did. These are one of my old friends. Oh, yeah, United Kingdom. Yeah, Canada, India. Wow, thank you so much. Thank you for choosing to learn from our coach today. One of the things is I observed that a lot of people seems to be losing either their jobs or getting a job is more difficult. I was in a meeting today when Tutu Ario mentioned that upscaling is the new currency. And I wanted to end this new currency, and I was looking forward to this. Ashwinee, thank you so much for all you've done for the African community, for myself, some of our groups that you taught us to be SPCs and still holding us by the hands in the journey of agility. We are happy to hand over to you now, sir, to take us through the value stream mapping. I've attended this training and we're going to have an overview of it. And Ashwini has something special for us as well. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks a lot. So I have few slides, right? So idea is to kind of talk about, what is value stream mapping and what are the measurements. And at the end, towards the end, I also have an exercise, which is done in a class, right? So recently, so I'm going to take you through a practical example as well. Yeah. So that's how we will kind of go through this part. And if you see the heading, I have also put it out: value stream mapping and measurements. Measurements come along in the value stream mapping. Idea is to really measure and really see how can we become better. Yeah? So idea is to end of the day streamline the process for the efficiency. That's a topic of this part. And before we jump into a little bit of a sales pitch slide from my side, who am I? Yeah, I'm an SPCT, that is Safe Practice Consultant Trainer. That is the highest level of certification that is available in SAFE. SAFE is Scale Agile Framework. Yeah. I'm one of the 130 odd members in the world, who are SPCTs. Apart from that, I'm also an ICF of PCC, which is International Coaching Federation's professional coach. Yeah. I've been in the industry for last 23 plus years. Started as a developer, then automation, uh, some of the leading roles, leadership roles. Then I became a Scrum Master and an Agile coach. Yeah, that was a journey trajectory of my professional life. Then from the last six and a half years, I've been an independent consultant who's helping organizations work in the new way of working. Yeah. I do advise organizations on the agile way of working. Apart from that, training is also one part. Trained more than 5,000 people in the last 7, 8 years as well. Mostly safe, scaled agile framework. But at the same time, I'm also passionate about smaller topics like design thinking, value stream mapping, product thinking, portfolio management, and so on and so forth. That's a little bit about me. And with that, let's get into the content or the course itself. Right. So I'm going to introduce you to what is value stream mapping. That's the first part. And what is the importance of value stream mapping in the overall process improvement? Let us talk about that. And finally, objective. I'll take you through a sample example on how do you do the value stream mapping, why do you do the value stream mapping, and what are the learnings from it, that you want to get out of it. Okay, so just to kind of go back in the history a little bit and understand what is the where did this come from? Where did this value stream mapping come from? So I think most of you are aware of the Toyota production system. In the manufacturing era, this was like almost 70, 80 years back, right? So Toyota kind of led the way of how do we do the manufacturing in a better way. Yeah? So they called it as a Toyota production system, or the TPS. One of the persons there, Taichi Ono, he is kind of seen as a father of the value stream mapping. I've been talking about value stream mapping from the last 5 minutes or so. But what is value stream? So let's again define what is value stream first. Simply put, value stream is nothing but how do you derive the value, right? How do you derive the value for the customer? In the sense, the customer has a need or an ask, customer needs something, and the organization takes them through multiple steps and finally gives them a product or a service, right? So all the steps that we take to take the customers through is called as a value stream. So you like it or not, you don't have to design a value stream. It is already there. If you are giving a service, if you are giving a product to a customer, end of the day, the value stream is already there. Just to give a small example there, think about you find a house attractive. Yeah. So you find a house and you find it attractive, and you want to buy that house. What do? You don't have that much money. So you know that banks can give you a mortgage loan. Yeah. So in that case, what do? You go to a bank. A bank will help you with certain steps. They will ask you certain forms to be filled. They will ask certain documentation from you as well. Once you've done all of that, they will check in the background whether you are eligible to get the loan or what is your credit score and stuff, and they will give you a loan. Yeah. Once that you get the loan, home loan, right? So you start repaying it. After some time, you finish it off, and this process continues for every person who is planning to buy a house, and they buy a loan, right? So the value stream for the bank and the customer here is from the time the customer enters into the bank to the time maybe I get the loan and then I repay it. So this is the definition of the value stream itself. What Toyota found out is, if these are the steps that are there at every point in time, sometimes there are wastages, right? So there are delays. Inadvertently, customer has to wait for certain things to be done. If you are waiting there, how do I help the customer? How do I help the customer to not wait? Or in other words, how do I make sure that I reduce those delays? And the process of analyzing this flow of information, that is called as a value stream mapping, right? Idea is to really see the process. What are all the steps that we are taking out? How much time we are spending at every step, right? On the actual work. How much time we might be spending on the delays as well, right? So we kind of look at all of them and say, okay, this is our value stream, and this is how I'm going to map it out. When you map it out, you will be able to see what are the problems there, and then I mean we kind of decide how do we move towards a place where there is a lot of betterment. This is where the last sentence that I have written on the slide comes into. You kind of understand what is the current state. You know what is your ideal state, where I mean there are no delays, I mean no complaints and stuff. But at the same time, understand the context and design a future state as well. Yeah, that's in a nutshell. How do we? What is value stream mapping, and how do we go about it as well? Yeah. So, does anybody in the group had an opportunity to go through any of the exercises of the value stream mapping, or uh, have you heard about anyone talking about it? If yes, what is your viewpoint around value stream mapping? Again, I'm asking this one even without going into the nitty gritties of it.
I can say something. So
Yeah.
I've gone through a lot of that, and I just wanted to say, add something, which is the fact that we have different levels of value stream. We have value stream at the team level, at the program level, and also at the portfolio level. So at the team level, it's more of like our sprints where we start and then we complete something that we are putting into the hands of our customers. And then we also have it at the feature level at the epic. So yeah, that's my own experience of how we use value stream.
Sure. And this is where I'm also trying to put some pictures of how does it look like, right? On the left-hand side, I mean, you have from a manufacturing context. And by the way, the Toyota production system was a manufacturing system, right? And what happened was when others took note of Toyota, what they are doing, mainly in the US, right? When they started taking note of what Toyota was doing, and they started codifying it or started to really understand what Toyota does and how we can do it. And this is when this system, Toyota production system, was named as Lean. Yeah, when you hear a word Lean systems, right? So you're talking about actually the a concept borrowed from Toyota production system. So what is happening here? So if you see on the left-hand side, what they say is there is information and there is material. Specifically in the context of the manufacturing, you will have materials, right? So it's like you are manufacturing a car, you are manufacturing a phone, you are manufacturing a physical good, right? So this is where I mean your material is coming either from the supplier or from yourself, and you will do a lot of processes, and finally you go to the customer. And in between you and the supplier and the customer, there is also an information going back and forth. If you see the suppliers and the consumer customers, I mean, it's like it's a factory symbol. And in between them, there are processes and there are also numbers they're kind of doing and stuff. Yeah. And this applied to any product development. I'm taking here one small example of maybe a software delivery, right? So this is where you're trying to create a visual or a storyline. So you're creating a concept first. You are figuring out how do we kind of come out with the graphics. You put out a storyline and then give it to the market or demo it to a customer. Here, what you're seeing is at every stage, you're spending some time that is put down in the numbers, 2 days or 3 days or whatever number of days. And in between these conceptual stages, there are also delays because you are maybe waiting for an information from someone else. Maybe you are waiting for an approval from your management. Maybe there is a third party which has to give you a particular a component, right? So you're waiting for that one. Whenever you're waiting, I mean, you're also kind of putting out that. And On the right hand side, if I look at it, actually I'm working for 9 days. The value at time is around 9 days, right? And at the same time, I mean, if you look at the overall time that is spent, yeah, overall time that is spent, I mean, I'll have to count everything, including the delays. From a customer perspective, if I count, the total time that I'm spending here is 38 days, including this 3 weeks of delay here. There is a 6 week of delay, 6 day of a delay here, and there is a 2 day of delay here. And if I divide this 9 days, which is value adding, to the overall days, what I see is there is a process efficiency of only 24% available for me. Yeah. So idea of a value stream mapping, as you see here, is to really look at what is happening today, right? This is my current state. If I go back to the previous slide, this is my current state. Ideally, I want every of these delays to be 0 and my process efficiency to be 100%. But at the same time, I know the realities on the ground, and I want to concentrate on some of the areas where there are delays. Maybe I will take up the area where there is a 3 week delay. Yeah, I'll take up the area where there is a 3 week delay and try to see how can I reduce. Here, maybe I kind of decide some of the factors that is taking up 3 weeks, and try to, even if I am able to kind of reduce it from 3 weeks to 2 weeks or a 1 week, it is going to be a huge opportunity for me, right? So idea is to end of the day, make sure that this overall time that I can go to the customer is reduced, where I am taking out these delays as much as possible. That's the intention of value stream. I mean, simply put, while I mean, we can complicate with a lot of stuff, simply put, the idea is, I mean, there are delays in the system. How do we make sure to avoid these delays or reduce the delays at least? That's the intention of a value stream mapping. Yes, Chichi.
Thank you so much, Ashwini. Appreciate you coming along with us on this. But I do have a question, and someone just reached out to me asking about we know this, as in, like, we see the 3 weeks delay or in their system, in their processes, but how can they go about starting the process of even, I have to read, let's just read the question, right? In my organization, we have delays in our process. It is my understanding that a value stream mapping has the operational side, right? But how do I even start talking about this in my organization?
Okay, that's a great question, and then this is where what we suggest is we need the leadership buy-in for this one, right? So as you see here, I mean, if you are preparing for a value stream mapping, you have to select a process to map. I mean, you have to know where there is a delay, right? So I talked about I mean, going for a home loan, right? So if that is taking a lot of time, a particular process within that is taking a lot of time, I will go for that one. But the first and foremost thing is about how do I showcase the numbers? Yeah, my suggestion would be, look at the process. Where are the delays? Maybe, I mean, I will concentrate only on this part and gather enough data to show that there are delays, right? So there are delays, and why those delays are caused. I mean, maybe the root cause for those delays. If I'm able to make a presentation on this delay, I can pitch it in such a way that, okay, there is a delay and I have a solution for this delay, right? So maybe, I mean, creating a storyline around maybe one of the major delays that you are seeing today to the leadership, and I mean, whoever is maybe accountable, responsible for the program management of this particular product or a service. That would be a starting point. creating a storyline around the delay, and there is a solution, right? So the solution is the value stream mapping. And I think, again, this is where I'm getting into how do I prepare, right? So typically when we say the value stream mapping is not a tactical exercise or execution focused exercise, rather it is a strategic exercise, because end of the day here, our idea is to make sure that the customer gets the things faster than, what it is today, right? So as I said, selecting a process to map is one thing. How do I select? Again, maybe you are stuck in a process where there are delays, right? So you would select that one. But at the same time, I would also suggest, from my experience, there are a few things to take care. First and foremost, you create a stakeholder map. When I say stakeholder map, in the overall process, if I go back to this simple example, who are all the people involved, right? What kind of teams are involved? Maybe there are some designers, marketing campaign designers, they are involved. There is some salespeople, they are involved. There is also the leaders for this group, they are involved, right? So create a map of all the people that are going to be there. And even before calling out, okay, we will do a value stream mapping, assemble that cross-functional team. When I say cross-functional, in a software world, it can be developers, testers, architects, including the marketing, sales, whoever is involved, right? If it is a non-software, non-IT, as I said, you have created the stakeholder map, call them, right? And try to keep the group in a range of 5 to 15 people. Okay? This is another suggestion. Try to keep the overall stakeholder group in a range of 5 to 15 people. In the sense, if there is a marketing team involved, you are not going to call the entire marketing team, rather some of the SMEs from there, maybe 1 or 2 SMEs from there, right? Again, what are we going to do with this group? My suggestion is to have a identification of the problem area, right? So with these people, typically, you can do it as a 2 to 4 hour exercise where you have gathered these stakeholders when you are trying to select an area to improve, right? So once you do that one, then call out for a educative session. And this is where, you will do a session like, we are doing today. What is value stream mapping? Where did it come from? What are the things that we are going to do, right? So it's a preparation activity. And this is where the stakeholders, if you are a facilitator, you are kind of calling them out, and you are also calling out the sponsor for this exercise as well. This is where the leadership buy-in or the leadership focus is very, very important, right? And you get the people along with the sponsor and do the preparation work. This is where we talk about what is value stream mapping, what are the nitty-gritties involved, it, who is going to do what, right? So call out or chalk out those factors for them, and then set out a date. And when you do the actual value stream mapping, right? So this is where my suggestion is to do it on as a 2-day exercise. And most of the literature that you see, they might say, maybe 1 day is enough. I have seen doing it over 2 days kind of helps you. Again, may not be 2 complete days, maybe 2 half days. Idea is to maybe identify the current status on day 1, identify the areas of improvement, that is possible. Again, if I go back to this picture, we do the identification on day 1. We do identify areas where we want to improve on the day 1 itself. This is where, we kind of focused on now that 3-week problem statement, right? On day 2, idea is to again give people some thinking time. When I say day 2, right? So they go back, they keep thinking about it. Next day, when they come back, now have the brainstorming sessions on how can we avoid these delays or reduce these delays, right? And they do this exercise on day 2, and they kind of put a future state map, which is depicting the future if we take certain action items, right? So my suggestion is to do the value stream mapping over a 2 days. Again, it may be 2 half-a-days or 2 days of few hours each as well. Idea is to allow people to think about the current state, where to improve on day 1, and allow them to come up with what is the future holds for us and who is taking what actions on day 2. Okay? We are also going to do this as a small exercise within the class itself. We are going to do that one in a while.
Ashwinee, we're going to have breakout room.
Yeah,
Small
I'm
exercise.
going to use that one in another 10 minutes or so.
All right. Tifa, kindly prepare the breakout room.
Yeah.
How many people would you want in the room?
Maybe we have around 25 people, right? So maybe 3 groups.
Okay, sir. Tifa, please prepare
Yeah.
the breakout. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So as I said, we are going to define the current state, identify opportunities for improvement, design the future state, and these are actual work. But what is more important is these 2 parts, right? So as a consultant, I see certain things getting done, but not, we don't take care of that one going forward, right? So it's very, very important that you implement the changes and also continuously improve, right? So this is where, again, I've been talking about it, leadership support, right? So this is very important, where one of the leaders takes care of as a value streams owner, and they drive this change. You are implementing the change, continuously improving, but at the same time doing this value stream mapping exercise again and again. In the sense, maybe 3 to 6 months is the window I usually kind of call out. You go back, improve again and again. With these things, again, let me show a sample example. And once we have this sample example, we are also going to go through an exercise for ourselves as well. So this was a sample example where the class put together this overall process. Okay? So they selected a kind of a very common use case where you are getting a requirement from the market, then you are reviewing the requirement, you're building the solution for the approved demand, and you kind of also review this demand with the risk management team, present the demand in steer. They had a steering committee there. They kind of got the approval, handed over that approved demand to the development team. The development teams implemented the demand. They kind of review the design, the quality team. There is a system integration testing that is done, UAT testing that was done. Then you do the pilot testing in the market and go live, right? So what they see here is, for each of the steps, how much time was required, right? So there is 1 day required for getting the market demand, 3 days required for reviewing the requirements, and so on and so forth, right? So this is what they did. And at every stage, they've also put out who is the party involved. There is a marketing team involved, there is a portfolio team involved, there is an architect involved, and so on and so forth. And you see that at certain places on the blue stickies, they've also put between the steps, what are the delays? Yeah, between the steps, what are the delays? So if I count all the pink color sticky notes, my time, the process time, what I call, my time to actually do the work is coming out to be 139 days. And if I calculate the delays in between, right? If I calculate the delays in between, there is a 97 days of delay, right? So this may be because I'm waiting for an approval, I'm waiting for a third party, I'm waiting for the other teams to kind of do some final modification, and so on and so forth. So another number that we calculate is, okay, my actual work time, which is a process time, is 139 days. There is a delay of 97 days. If I add both of them, I call it as a lead time. Lead time is what the customers see, right? From the starting to the end, how much time is elapsed, right? So lead time is 230 days. I now calculate the efficiency of the system as process time divided by the lead time. Here, 139 hours, odd hours divided by 235 hours or days, which comes out to be 59%. That means that my process is efficient 59%. Now I will go back and kind of look at opportunities to improve. So maybe, I mean, one of the solutions that came up with, look at the architect's bandwidth and look for solutions to provide support. I mean, maybe, I mean, at certain places, you have an architect and there is a waiting of like architects are there everywhere. I mean, there is also waiting time associated with the architects. Here, I mean, there is a 15 days. I mean, we are waiting for it. Here, we are waiting for 10 days because architects are busy, right? Then you also find out the ways of optimizing their ways of work, right? WOW is nothing but ways of work, right? And what are the bottlenecks that they have? You identify that. And you also kind of look at some work in process limit. Maybe somebody is doing too many things. That's why, I mean, they're busy. How do I kind of support them, right? So you look at these activities, and what you do is with these opportunities, I mean, you come up with certain actions, and now you think about a future state map. Again, this is a supposed to be state, or I mean, if I take certain actions, what will happen, right? So you kind of put out a futures map. And now if you calculate, I mean, your efficiency looks to be increasing from 50 odd percent to 60 odd percent. Yeah. So this is an exercise, I mean, you will keep on doing. In a sense, I mean, you put up future state map, and at the same time, what you try to do also is to kind of really look at where are the improvements that we can do and constantly measure it out as well. By the way, this future state might require you to work for 3 to 6 months, or I mean, any some time constantly. Every 2 weeks, maybe every month. I mean, you are constantly measuring, are we improving any of the places, because you have put certain action items, right? So this is on an outset, this is a simple way to kind of do it. Yeah. Idea is to really map the current process steps, see how much time we are taking for the actual steps, how much time is there for the delay, and then kind of, I mean, find out the opportunities, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share this board with all of you, right? So I'm putting out in the chat window the URL. You can just hit this URL and get on to, yeah. And by the way, just before this URL, I have also put my LinkedIn address. I mean, if any one of you want to connect with me, please do so. What I'm going to give you is a board where I'm going to create 3 places for you to create our present stage map. I will call this as, I will maybe call this, I'll put a sticky note with the team 1, lock them. Put a team 2. And if you're not finding this place on the board, don't worry. I'm going to call all of you in a while to this place. I have a small magic wand, which is called as bring everyone to me, bring everyone to where I am. Yeah. So I have created some placeholders for you for the three teams to work on. What are we going to do now? So when we send you into the breakout rooms, I will also call out who is going to be in the team 1, who's going to be in the team 2, and who's going to be in the team 3. When you get into your breakout rooms, you have opened this Miro board. One of you take the lead, right? So one of you take the lead, share the screen with others in your group, and you're going to work together and say, for example, if I'm in team 1, on the bottom right, I have this zoom window, right? So I can zoom. If I'm in team 1, I'll also unclick the select button, and maybe I can move here, right? So I move to the team 1 window. I kind of make it appropriate for me to see. Yeah, I'll make it appropriate for me to see. And I'll start putting out a small process. As a group, maybe one of you says, okay, I know a process which is problematic for me. I'm going to depict it for you and take the others' help. So start taking the sticky notes here. So you take a sticky note, any color is good, right? So I put it out, and maybe I can just copy paste. I will select, or I'll create some steps for myself. And while discussing with everyone in the group, you will start putting out, okay, this is a process, right? So maybe I'll analyze, I'll design, I'll test, right? So you can take any example. Yeah. You don't have to take the loan example or a specific example. You can take any example and say, these are the steps that we have, right? So you put out the steps. You can also use these arrows to connect here, right? So one step to another step, right? So you can connect here as well. First, maybe take 5 to 10 minutes to create these steps. And then you also think about how much time today it is taking for you, right? So this particular step, how much time is it taking for you? This is where you will put a post-it of a different color and say, okay, this is taking me write everything in the same unit of measurement, either days or hours, right? So if you are using hours, use hours everywhere. If you are using days, use days everywhere. Maybe, you take 8 hours as one day. If at all there is a 4-hour work, you maybe take it as a half a day, right? So put the numbers here. First, maybe put the numbers for all the work that you do, how much hour. And then once you are done with that one, then you put the numbers for these in between as well. In between is nothing but there is a delay, right? So you're waiting for someone, you're waiting for approval. If that's the case, you put out these numbers as well. So end of it, your overall process will look something like this, right? So you don't have to kind of look at a very complex process. Think about something very simple, 4 or 5 steps, and you put out the steps. You put out the number of hours, days, or whatever is required for the actual work. You also put out the number of days or hours that is in between as a delay, right? So we're going to do this exercise. Each team is going to do this exercise. By the way, whoever has kind of selected this particular box, right? So just click outside of it. If you are using it, others will not be able to use this particular sticky note. Yeah. So we are going to send you into 3 breakout rooms. Each group, let's give the teams, Chichi, let's give the teams a 15-minute window. And each team is going to put out their process and the timing that is required for this one. And when we come back, maybe one of the teams will just brief what is their process. Yeah. And then we'll take it forward. Where we'll try to see where are the opportunities for us to improve.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ashwinee. Tifa, is the breakout rooms ready?
Okay. So if you can just call out who is going to be in the room 1, who is going to be in the room 2, at least 1 or 2 names. so that they know. Yeah.
All right, Tifa, do you have that? Can you see that on your end?
Yes. The breakout rooms are ready.
In room 1, can you call out names in room 1, please?
We have Anne, we have Dr. Francisca, we have Joyce Smith, we have Nana, we have Osa, we have Selvi, we have Tolu, and we have Vincent, Wale Vincent. Then for room 2, we have Alberto, we have Florence, we have Jobita, we have Olamide, we have Hole, we have Saidat, we have Vanessa for room 2. Then for room 3, we have Dairo, we have Fatima, we have Jimmy, we have Julia, we have Maria, and we have Sonny for room 3.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. And does everyone have access to the board? Do you have any issues connecting to the board? If you do, please raise your hand so we can guide you on how to get access.
And by the way, in the team, at least one of you have the access that is good enough, right? So you can share the screen with others and work collaboratively. Yeah.
Okay, so can I go ahead and open our
Yeah. Yes, please go ahead. I don't see any
Okay, it's open.
Room is opened. How many minutes is Ashwinee giving us again?
15 minutes.
Okay, I'll just broadcast that to the room. We have 15 minutes. And the time starts now.
We should not be doing the value stream mapping this fast. So that's why the preparation and understanding of the value stream, those things are very, very important, right? So let me take one example, right? All the teams, you've done a great job with the limited time that you had and the limited understanding, right? So if you look at it, this is what it might look like, right? So you are kind of doing a development of maybe a small feature, and you are going to test it out, and you are going to deploy it to production. Yeah. So this is an example. Team 1 took it up. And what they see is the development effort is 5. Let me take it as number of days, right? So 5 days. Testing effort is 5 days, another 5 days. Deploying to production is another 5 days. Sorry, another 10 days. Yeah. So that's the number you have. And also you see some delays in between development to testing. Testing team is busy with something. They will have an intake process. That process takes around 2 days. Yeah. From testing team to deploy to production, you have to give it to a release management team. They will do certain validations, and there is a back and forth communications, approvals, and that is happening. That takes around 5 days. Yeah. So your process time is 20 days. The delay is 7 days. So your lead time from an perspective of a customer looks like 27 days, including these 7 days of delay as well. As of now, your efficiency of the system is 74%. Yeah. So this is where you will look at what lean tells us is look at the delays first, try to avoid them, then look at the process steps. Are you able to kind of reduce this timeline, maybe by using automation or using any of the any new actions that you can do, right? So the outcome from this exercise for me is to really look at some of the areas that we can improve and how can we improve that and who is going to take those actions, put it out that. And also I put out a future state where maybe I'll reduce the deployment to production by some factor using automation. I'll also reduce the delay from testing to production using some collaboration mechanisms, right? So I put out a future state where maybe process time is around 15 days, delay is around 3 days or so, and my efficiency kind of improves from 74 or whatever percent to 80% or so. Yeah. So that's the idea or the intention of doing this value stream mapping, right? So thanks, teams, team 1, 2, and 3. I mean, you've done 7 things, right? Yeah. So I know this was a very quick exercise. And you also now, I think, understand some of the problems you will face along the way in these kind of exercises, right? So maybe everybody may not have the same understanding. That's a major problem. That's where it's very important to collect the stakeholders, give them or educate them, give them an opportunity to learn what is value stream mapping and what is their role going to be. Yeah, that's important. And collecting enough data before the value stream mapping also is very important, because if you don't have the right data, you may not be able to get to the root cause of the problem. Right? So that's one more thing. And the third thing is, I mean, you need to have enough time, right? So not a 10-minute exercise, right? So that's why I kind of suggested a 2-day format. Yeah. And by the way, this is what I had for this particular session. Yeah. So I do conduct 1 day, half a day kind of master classes as well. I think you can actually get in touch with Divine, and we can formulate a class, a paid class, but not too much to pay as well, right? So we can create an opportunity to learn. Yeah. I mean, while I do teach skilled agile courses with certifications, I also teach topics like design thinking, or value stream mapping, or anything else that you might have in mind. You can circle back to Divine, and we both will be able to create or curate a content for you, and then create maybe a 3-hour or a 1-day or a 2 half-day kind of a classes as well. Yeah. And we'll work out the modalities of how do we do it and stuff. We can do it later.
Thank you, Ashwinee. I'll tell you transparently, when we wanted to do this training years ago, some of us here, some of the coaches here from Agile Disciples, we were going to pay about $600, $750 thereabout to somebody to take us the workshop. And so when you took me up and you said we're going to pay maybe $10 or $12, I'm like, what is going on here and all that? So Ashwinee has volunteered for the African group, and because of Agile Disciples, we're going to be as low as maybe $10 thereabout to $12. But reach out to Agile Disciples, send a message and all that. I'm sure we're going to get something really, really soon, and you would hear about it as well. Thank you very much, Ashwinee, for your time. Vanessa, your hands are up. Go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you very much. So my question is, what if there are no delays?
Sorry, it was so low. I'm not sure I heard you. Could you want to repeat that?
My question is, what if there are no delays?
I don't think, I mean, you will find any system like that, right? So if there are no delays, I mean, you are at a nirvana stage, right? So you should be happy. But you will figure out again, what Toyota does is even 1 second delay somewhere there, right? So they try to improve that one.
Yeah, and there'll be hardly any time where you won't find something to improve. 100% efficiency means that there's no room for improvement. So there's something to get to. If you look into your system.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick and just tell this audience more about Agile Disciples. And then we'll close for the day. But we at Agile Disciples, our vision is to empower and develop our communities. We are a group of passionate coaches and seeking to improve ourselves and also connect and partner with people like Ashwinee, who can not just support us individually, but also our community. So while we're empowering ourselves, we're also empowering and developing our communities. And we definitely create awareness through coaching and skills development to close any opportunity divide. These are the coaches for Agile Disciples. You would have communicated with them in your breakout room somehow, or they might have mentored you in one way or the other. Please feel free to connect with either of us. If you need something, you need some mentoring, or you need more information on our social media, just reach out to us. If we do not know the answer, we'll definitely guide you on the right path. These are our mentors. We really appreciate our mentors. They are the ones that serve as a guiding light, share, they just support us and have been with us since the get-go. And wherever you find them, if you find them on the streets of LinkedIn, just tell them that we are grateful for their support. Just thank them on our behalf. They're awesome people. And we have our website. Should you want to send us an email, it is Agile Disciples, AgileDisciplesUSA.com. One moment here. And these are our social media channels, trying to make sure nothing is blocking your view. All right. So that's about it. We do have one thing going on right now. This was something that Divine and I just spun up, just thought about it. There's a lot going on in the society right now. People are really looking to upskill. And we have partnered with Ashwinee, been to his trainings, and he has been such a great support. You will not understand how much he gives back to the society. So we're partnering with him, and we're saying, well, on this call, we want 3 people. The first 3 people who are able to get on LinkedIn and talk about today's presentation, what they learned from today's presentation, and what you'll be implementing at your workplace from this presentation. If you can post it on LinkedIn, tag Agile Disciples, tag any of our amazing coaches, and tag the trainer Ashwinee, you will be getting, or you have the opportunity to join Ashwinee's training sponsored by Agile Disciples. So I'm going to post instruction again. To qualify, you have to be one of the first 3 people to post about today's presentation. Write about 1 to 2 key things you learned from today's session and what you'll be implementing on Monday, whether at work or in your personal life. Then tag Agile Disciples or one of our coaches and Ashwinee, who's the trainer, who was our presenter for today. And you will be reached. The names will be posted on Monday, on Tuesday, and you'll be tagged as one of the 3 winners. So if you want to participate, please do. Go ahead.
Sorry, do you mind to share your LinkedIn contact so people can add you on LinkedIn and all? We're happy to. And while Ashwinee is doing that,
go ahead and tag him.
While Ashwinee is doing that, could you please let's appreciate Ashwinee in the chat? You could just tell him how much you appreciate him, how much you appreciate this session. Just put it in the chat, please. Just appreciate him, how much you appreciate this session. Just say it in the chat. Thank you very much.
Awesome. All right, do I have any questions? Anything you want to clarify before we get off the call? Or anything you want to say? All right. So let the draw begin. Let's hear, I have the instructions in the chat. And we'll be posting the first, the three winners to join his next training. Or whatever training he has. He has so many training. He has design thinking, product thinking, value stream mapping, name it.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Well,
and thank you very much, Ashwinee. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye.